Would you all please stand as willing and able for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Thank you all for coming, and Happy New Year. First order of business is always public comment. We have had no one arrive to deliver public comment, so we'll move directly into the report of the secretary. And I will entertain a motion, please, to approve the minutes of our last meeting.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. I'll second.
Lisa? Comments or questions? Another excellent job. Thank you. Didn't see anything worth correcting? Anybody? All in favor? That's 6-0. Thank you very much. And that brings us to the report of the chair. Just the one item, town officials meeting will be next Wednesday morning at 8:30 at the Elliott Town Hall. Try something different this time. Reach out to me, please, if you decide you want to go. That way I'm less likely to forget to reach out. Okay, that's great. Thank you. And that brings us to the report of the superintendent.
Thank you very much. The first agenda item tonight is just a reminder that we are having a board workshop prior to our next meeting. And so I would ask that each one of you have a topic that is something that you'd want us to think about as we start looking at the budget for next year. Obviously, if there's multiple topics, we just want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to be heard. And please share those with Joe so we can create an agenda for that evening. Just prior to the meeting, again, it will be a budget workshop where the public is invited to that as well.
What time is that?
I believe we're going to go 6 o'clock. We'll do facilities and finance at 5:30. We'll do 6 o'clock, and we'll probably go to about 10 minutes to 7.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Perfect. In your packet, I just wanted to review just our budget timelines. And so we've been sharing kind of all along the numbers of enrollment and how that drives kind of our subsidy. Our subsidy should be coming at the end of January. That's a really important number for us, obviously, as we start to build the budget. The beginning of March is when I'll make that initial budget presentation for the board. And then at that point, that budget becomes yours. And then we have a number of different budget workshops where, you know, we'll kind of present kind of what it took for us to build the budget. And then if there's areas that you are happy with, want to think about, I mean, that's your opportunity to kind of to put it in the concept that you want to at that point in time. And then the meeting on May 1st is the chance where the board will actually vote on the budget that they'll take forward to the community. Then we'll have the community meeting, and then we will have the referendum vote in June. So,
May I add one thing?
Yeah.
So I would recommend to my fellow board members for the second meeting in March and both meetings in April, if you mark your calendars now with just block off 5 to 7 for workshop. Okay, great. Thank you. Great.
awesome. Any questions about that? So the purpose of agenda item 1 is to allow me to be able to think a little bit as I start to put my budget together. If there's certain priorities that the board wants to see, some of those things are going to take a little bit of time to be able to create a vision for. Some I may be able to address, others will be a little bit more difficult, but I certainly want to be able to take that feedback and be able to talk about that as I start to build my budget for that March 1st.
Yeah, an example, if I may, example of that, we've had a discussion about foreign languages and improving that at both the middle school and the high school, bulking it up somehow. That could be a topic for budget discussion, just as an example.
So let me use that as a great example. Right?
Sure.
So since then, we've been able to have a number of meetings to be able to figure out, like, what's the big picture idea? We want to give more foreign language opportunities for our students at Marshall Middle School. That's a really big picture idea. And so now we've created a vehicle to be able to do that. So how do we offer that, the French experience at Marshall Middle School? And can we do it on a couple of grade levels? That would be really nice to be able to do that. So that process has already started. We've already met with the high school, we've met with the middle school and tried to find a way to combine those two schedules to be able to address that issue. So like that's something, give me a chance to be able to formulate, like, let me know what the question is first before I can come up with a solution. And that would allow us to be able to build it into the budget. So does that make sense?
It does.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Perfect. Also, I'm sure the answer is yes, but I just want to formalize this, is that the MyS data should be out beginning of February. It's done now, but they have not released it to the individual communities yet. I'm assuming, I would certainly recommend that we bring Sally back in to do a presentation to disaggregate that information with us.
Absolutely.
I would
Please.
really ask her to give us kind of the snapshot of where we were, basically 2 years ago now,
Yep.
a little bit over, 24 or 26 months ago, and then what the data says from this fall.
Yes,
Does that seem to be the will of the board?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay,
absolutely.
fantastic. The other thing is, just as a side note, there's a scheduling issue, and the June board meeting, we need to move that to the 26th of June. So I just wanted to be able to put that out for the board.
What are the March? The March is the 6th and the 20th, right?
March,
And you're saying at 5.
yeah, March the 6th and 20th. February, is it February? It gets a little bit funky.
I think it's April.
April is where it gets a bit funky.
Yeah, I think April with the 3rd and the 10th.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of school vacation.
So it's the 6th and the 20th in March, would be those
Yep.
meetings. And then in April, we would say it's the 3rd and the 10th, and then we have the 24th available in case we need an additional budget workshop evening to be able to any questions that the board may have. And then May 1st would be when the budget is presented. And then I believe it's like the 15th is the district budget meeting, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that right now.
So do we have the Rollinsford workshop on the 6th of March?
We do have that before the meeting, so there wouldn't be a budget there would not be a budget workshop before I present my budget. It would be the meetings after
Yeah.
that we have the budget
fall,
workshop.
Right.
Yep.
You provide a handout typically to explain, yeah, so we'll make sure you get a copy of that right away.
Yep. And then June, we're gonna move that to I think it's the 5th and the 26th. Okay.
Very good.
Student report.
Awesome. So I'll start us off with sports. So for boys basketball, on the 21st, the boys played a close game against York. They lost 46-55. And then on the 23rd, they played Granny Gloucester, losing 48-76. Their most recent game on the 29th was a win with a final score of 34-30 against Massabesic. For girls, on the 20th, the girls played a really close match against Wells. Unfortunately, they lost by 1 point, 46-45. And on the 21st, they lost against York 51-58. On the 23rd, the girls played Greater Gloucester and lost 27-58. Last night, the girls got their first win of the season against Westbrook with a score of 53-47. For the Nighthawks, on the 22nd, they lost against Coney 1-2, and on the next day, on the 23rd, they took the win against Edward Little 3-1. The indoor track had a meet last Saturday. It was the USM New Year Invitational. All teams performed great, and they're preparing for their meet tomorrow up at USM. Ski team has practice on snow today up at Pleasant Mountain. Unfortunately, no gates, but hoping that this weekend's forecast will change that. The first race is going to be next Wednesday up at Pleasant Mountain. On to Student Gov report. We had the Frosty Fiesta on the Friday before break, and it went super well. Everyone had such a fun time doing pod activities, and everything ran smoothly in the gym for the pep rally. The Sunday at the end of the day was also fun with lots of participation from every grade and even staff. Unfortunately, we did have some problems with staff involvement. The participation was underwhelming, and in some cases, their reception of the event was a little disappointing. But in the end, we were able to put on a very fun event. All pods contained an activity. We had a movie pod, arts and crafts, video games, cookie decorating, gingerbread house decorating, active games, trivia, holiday traditions, board games, and just a quiet space for students who would rather have some quiet time. The pep rally was awesome. We duct taped Mr. Smith and Miss Groff to a wall, and I have this little picture here. Right now, Student Gov is changing gears to focus on winter carnivals, student announcements, and are looking into some new policies.
You've done a really great job. Can you circle back? So the staff just wasn't excited about the pep
We just
rally?
had some problems. We're doing pod activities, which is something new Student Gov is coming up with, where each pod is assigned.
Mhm.
You know, like if upstairs A pod was movie pod, so Mr. Livingston, all them, they all chose a different movie to put on, and we assigned students, and we just didn't have a lot of cooperation as we hoped, and sometimes I think some teachers weren't as excited about it, I suppose. So we got a lot of kind of pushback of,
Okay.
oh, I don't really.
So what are your recommendations moving forward to help gain faculty and staff participation and like to change the culture,
Yeah.
to have a culture
Absolutely.
shift
We
in
talked
the
with
reaction?
Mr. Hookturp about it and
Yep.
Mr. Buzzle as well, and they had a whole staff meeting just addressing it.
Good.
We just wanted to make it known. I mean, that was something that Student Gov was asked to put on, so
Yes.
it's not that feedback was not. And I mean, it wasn't every teacher. A lot of the teachers were all on board. But some were surprising, and some of the interactions were a little bit like, oh, that
Okay.
wasn't something that was expected.
So
But-
is there anything that you think you can do as an upperclassman with the student council to help prepare them better for next year in a case like this, or how that you can help guide them to make next year's event a little bit more successful? Because this is concerning.
Yeah, I mean-
I am concerned.
I
hearing
think
this, yeah.
Right now, our focus is we're trying to get more culture back into Marshwood, and I mean, Mr. Hookdrip's really on board with that, and he's been assigning us fun days to plan. And I just think sometimes it takes a couple of years to get things going. And in the past, it's been, there's a pep rally,
Yeah.
and for students, that's, oh, I get to leave early. So we're trying to change that culture of something that people are excited to stay for, and it's going to be a work in progress. Like student gov, definitely, we had some flaws, we had some sending out issues of getting information, and that's a given of working with it through time and getting better at it. But I think we had some students say, we had a really great time, we can't wait for it next year. So we're hoping to build that,
The
to
momentum.
make it
Yeah.
like, oh my god, the day before winter break we always have a really awesome day. It just becomes a tradition. So we're
Yeah.
hoping that will stay.
I would say that we met, I met with the Principal Hooptrick about this already. And so I think he's got a plan going forward. I think, communication was an issue that he's going to address in fairness to the staff. And so to be able to kind of get that plan together, to get everybody on the same page, ultimately everybody's working for the same goal, and just be able to make sure that we're able to implement that with fidelity would be awesome. So.
Yeah, and I just like to encourage you to keep up with your positive attitude and keeping the momentum within the student council and anyone else that wants to join the student council, because what I hope is that these fun activities continue and that they don't lose heart, and like the students just be like, oh, well, forget it. It's not worth the hassle.
Yeah.
Because it is worth the hassle. It is worth your effort. And I'm really excited that you brought this up, or just feel that we can make a change and we can do this together, but we just have to keep that momentum. So thank you
Definitely.
for sharing
Yeah.
that.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that you felt like you could bring it to Mr. Hookter.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Your feelings were heard, and
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I
proud of
think
you.
that's
Yeah.
important.
Good
And
job.
I appreciate it and want to acknowledge too that you also are recognizing that it's, there was communication, maybe fallouts and different things. It wasn't just,
Yeah.
staff is great, right? Like they
Yeah.
just maybe weren't prepared or whatever. And now we've learned something. So like you said, you can bring it forward to the next time. And it's going to be even better year to year. It's good for you.
Thank you.
And then just for extracurriculars, Interact Club, they're planning their next upcoming projects right now. The community closet is going really great. Almost all of the clothes are hung up on hangers. And we're hoping to get racks to replace some of the shelves on one of the walls, to finally kind of transfer all those folded clothes to hangers. And then math team hasn't had any practices or meets. Well, they had a practice today, but not really very many significant updates on that. But they have a meet on the 24th at Massabesic, so there'll be more to come in the next meeting. Quiz Bowl's next planned meet is March 16th in Marlborough, Massachusetts, but we're hoping to maybe be able to host a meeting at the school. So kind of trying to figure out the details for that. And then Hold has a meeting this Friday to talk about the next activity on the 10th. They're debating either indoor rock climbing or sledding. They'll also be talking about February meetings and activities. And GSA has hit a bit of a roadblock. They're kind of trying to find a new advisor right now, and they aren't currently meeting at the moment. But they're trying to figure it out, and everyone's still pretty passionate about getting it back into place. So pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. We have had no correspondence upon which to report, so we'll move into the report of the committees. Finance and Facilities will next meet in 2 weeks on the 17th of January, and we'll have a report out at that time. Ed Policy has met in the interim, and we have a bunch of policies up for first read tonight, and as well as a few second reads. Is there anything anybody on Ed Policy wants to add about the last meeting, or?
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Yeah, okay.
going on, so.
Very good. So we'll see that when we get to the new business. And then lastly, Wellness and SEL met tonight, and I'd love to hear about that. No? No? Yes?
I just started reading classes. I'm like, how do you do this? Do you have things you want to share?
Yeah, if you could share, that would be great.
Oh, yeah, so we had a nice conversation with, a wellness meeting. A lot going on. There's a conference this month that at Samoset that several teachers are going to from around the district. It's focused on health and wellness. Very exciting. It's something that used to be a lot longer and it was in the summer, and now I kind of like this timing because we were talking about how the group could maybe bring some things back and maybe meet with the wellness committee. And share what they've learned, and traditionally history shows that they always come back with fantastic ideas, so hopefully there'll be some kind of action plan that comes out of that. Mr. Haverly and Heidi are going to be attending an anti-drug meeting down in DC, meeting with our representatives and senators and things, coalition, the anti-drug, no,
Yep. Anti-Drug Coalition of America, basically.
Anti-Drug Coalition of
CADCA.
America. But it's what's the first C for?
Community?
Coalition,
Coalition.
anti-drug,
Anti-drug
oh my
coalition.
God.
No,
Give me a second.
community?
Oh, community.
Community
something.
Anti-Drug Coalition of America. Sorry, I had to look it up on my
There
phone.
we go.
Yeah.
No, that sounds really fascinating. Yeah.
And that's with Sally, with the Frisbee Healthy
nice.
Coalition.
Oh, she's going too.
She's the one who's
And
coordinating
it's all
it.
funded.
It's all
which
funded
is
through
really
the
cool. Yeah,
coalition,
can't wait
yes.
to hear
Yeah.
how that goes. And then Mr. Brunel was sharing some things that were happening at the Great Work School. There was a panorama survey that he did, and it was interesting what it showed. Like, this was really good, that was really great. In terms of what the kids thought, they would like walk through questions and like they felt supported and relationships were good, but then emotional regulation, like they self-identified that was a challenge for them. So that was interesting, and then that got us into another conversation. Erin, our new health teacher, who goes around to all the grades, was sharing how that came up in the 4th and 5th grade classrooms that she was talking to as well, and talking about New Year's resolutions this week, and they all kind of came up with the same thing, that maybe self-management was maybe something that they wanted to work on. So it's just funny. It's definitely a common theme. She also was sharing some of the health curriculum that she's been sharing with the 5th graders. She uses Common Sense Media, so they've been talking about some digital citizenship. She said it's really going well. They like the characters, there's some characters and some other things involved in that. That got us into talking about social media in general and how we'd like to see even more of that. So what are we doing now in the district, which is actually pretty extensive in terms of talking about digital citizenship, social media, the dangers of social media, what to watch out for, kind of the laws around it and how it all works. So we were talking about what more we might be able to do, whether it's a speaker coming in or something. So we're going to be looking into that a little bit. And that actually got me to thinking, as our student reps were talking about maybe what they might like to see around that, what you might think is helpful. We still don't have a student rep on wellness committee. I'm not really sure whatever happened.
Addie Cleary was coming, yeah. She's, yep.
Sporadically.
Yeah, well,
They're
Yeah.
super busy.
Skiing, I
Super
think she's,
busy.
I think she's skiing.
Yeah. But that would
Yeah, that's
be, that was probably one of the many meetings I missed. I'm sure she was there. But anyway, I just got to thinking that might be something that we partner with Student Gov on. Yeah. In terms of that idea.
That's a great idea. Or even just like having some of these committee meetings on, I know I said bulletin board for the high school last week or whenever we met last time, but even if it's a digital page of things that you can do to get involved in the community or activities, and just have a contact at the school board email, and then the students could, sign up to be, if it's even the policy committee, could they participate in that one as well? And listen in maybe occasionally? Is that something a student could?
We invite students. We have a meeting
For
coming up
specific
with,
topics.
yeah,
yeah,
with-
so-
Yeah.
drug and alcohol policies.
Yeah.
Yep. And we did dress codes as
Just
well.
did that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
That's all I
that
really
seems-
had for
Yeah,
that.
that seems very thorough.
No, I think that's really it.
Did you have something, Kate?
I think we're gonna,
Kate, right?
I mean, we talked a lot about social media literacy
Yeah.
as well, and that might be a good topic for our next like community wellness event, and you have to just ask the student reps what their input might be.
Yeah.
Choose to be healthy just did something, so we're going to reach out to Sally Manahan.
Yeah.
What did I say that wrong?
Manahan,
Manahan? I
yes.
say Manahan, but it's Manahan. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
So one other tiny thing was that Erin Dixon is going to start with the puberty education, like in the next month, next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right, with the fifth graders. So
Yes.
that's going to be
Yeah.
the first time in a while, and
Yeah.
so this is very exciting.
Yeah.
Waiting for them for a long time.
So, yeah, just that's exciting.
Okay, anything else? Excellent, thank you so much. That concludes committee reports and brings us to new business. Bunch of policies to look at. Have a motion, please, with regard to JIHC.
I move to approve the first reading and discussion of policy JICH,
Sorry,
drug and alcohol use by students.
Second.
thank you. Thank you for doing it correctly when I messed it up. Comments or questions? This looks like we've added some clarification language around,
Really, just trying to be really clear that
Yeah.
it's not just during the school day in the school. There's this extends beyond that.
Yep.
Being really clear about that.
very good. Any other questions about it or comments? We'll come up again in 2 weeks. All in favor? That is 6-0. Thank you very much. Motion, please, with regard to JKD.
I move to approve the first reading and discussion of policy JKD, suspension of students.
Second, Heather?
Thank you.
Do you mind if I?
Please, go
Okay,
ahead.
if I just talk about this?
Please do.
This is to put us in compliance with state law. So the state of Maine passed a law that students in below fifth grade may not be given an out-of-school suspension unless they're filing certain things. It has to be limited in time. So 3 days is as far as you can go with that. And so our policy has not said that. And so we have it built in here right now.
Very good. That's the only change, is that reference, it looks like?
Yep. And then also just making it formalizing that if we're going to suspend a student at the elementary school, and it's really about safety at that point in time,
Yep.
we would bring the parent back in for a reentry meeting.
Sure. Okay. Very good. Comments or questions? All in favor? That is 6-0. Thank you. We'll see that again in 2 weeks. Motion, please, with regard to JICIA.
I'll move to approve the first reading. Violence and school safety.
Second, Lisa?
Lisa, thank you.
Please start.
Yeah.
Felt like
I,
that was
I,
good to remove that.
yeah, it seemed, I don't know. But it looks like the major upgrade here is the specific references to the reporting procedure and the reporting form.
Yes, and so that was the
Yeah.
state law that was passed around students with unsafe behavior with staff.
Yep.
And so that's a form, it's a change in the state law. So we put it in 2 different places, and so this is one of those places.
Right. Right. Comments or questions? All in favor? 6-0. Great, thank you very much. Motion, please, with regard to JIC.
Approve the first reading and discussion of policy JIC, district-wide student code of conduct. I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
This is similar, just adding reference to the
Yeah, those same references are added again here. That's good. No other changes. Comments or questions? All in favor? 6-0. Thank you very much. That's the end of our first readings and brings us to our second readings. May I have a motion, please, with regard to IKF?
I move to approve the second reading and adoption of policy IKF, graduation requirements.
Second, Jen?
Jen, thank you. No change from our last reading.
That's correct.
And by way of reminder, we've added that extra half year of
Half
health.
credit, but it's still 21 credits to graduate. We didn't increase the total credit, but
Right.
we did increase the required credits.
Very good. Okay, questions? All in favor? That's 6-0, and that's official. Now, motion please with regard to the Title 1A procedures. LG is the policy, I guess.
I move to rescind policy LG, Title 1A procedures, NCLB.
Second, Heather?
Thank you, Heather. I thought for a second we weren't going to get a second. That's all right. Anything to say about
Really
this?
doesn't- It no longer applies.
It
That
just no
laws
longer
changed,
applies.
And
Get-
so just,
Get it off the books.
Yep.
Unnecessary. Any questions or comments? All in favor? That is 6-0, and that is rescinded. Okay. This is a fun one. May I have a motion,
Yes.
please, with regard to the trip to Denmark?
Second, Rebecca.
Rebecca, thank you.
can I just add something?
Please do.
I'm looking into, I don't have a clear answer yet, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, about some seed money that we might be able to procure that the board has put aside for these types of things, but I just want to make sure I have all my facts straight before we do anything, but I'm trying to look into that just to be able to have something like we typically do to help start, particularly with those students who may not, I don't want cost to be a barrier for kids, so this might be an opportunity, so we'll look into that a little bit more. I
Okay.
feel good about it, but I'm not 100% yet to say, yes, we have and how much we have.
Yep.
Thank you.
It would be a small amount, it obviously wouldn't be paying for everybody by any means.
Right. Understood. Questions, comments?
Thank you.
Awesome.
Are
Yeah,
we all-
thank
are
you.
we-
Yeah, for thinking outside the box, John.
Yeah.
Thank you to Mr. Livingston.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All in favor? Oh, sorry, I didn't, I
That's all.
thought
You
you
did a
were
great job. No.
done. All in favor? Yes, that's a
Excellent.
So now they
res-
can start to fundraise.
resounding
so
6-0. Yes,
exciting.
So that-
absolutely,
And that
of
would go
course.
through
Yes.
Brett to be able to approve that, and then if this became a biannual,
Yep.
we would just, we would bring it forward to the board,
Good.
Right.
we do it again.
Sure.
So like for the fundraising activities, it would just go to, it wouldn't have to wait for a board meeting to vote
No,
on?
so the first time we do something for fundraising, the building principal can approve it.
Okay.
Something that becomes an ongoing, we would have to vote on, and so we have some flexibility about this. We do have some activities like we don't allow, but typically it's not, you know.
Yeah, and with the principal coordinate, like, so if it was a bake sale, the kids wanted to do a bake sale, or, you know, I know we did the clothes for the 8th grade social fundraising through the school. Does the principal coordinate with the regulations of the
Yes.
cafeteria?
Yes.
Okay. Last thing, we have a motion, please, with regard to this ski team trip.
I move to approve Marshwood High School ski team to take an overnight trip to attend the Class A championship at Pleasant Mountain, February 14th and 15th, 2024.
I'll second, Rebecca.
Rebecca, thank you.
Again, it's just a lot of time in a bus to
Sure.
go back and forth on that.
Sure.
It's-
Although it's kind of cool that Pleasant Mountain, I mean, that's closer than Saddleback.
Yeah, right.
Great, okay, any other comments or questions?
Well,
Good.
actually, one more thing, not about that. Oh, wait, so did we vote?
Well, let's
All right,
let's
got it.
confine the discussion to this item,
Sorry.
and then when we get to board, okay, good. Anything else on this item? All in favor? That's 6-0. Okay, that concludes new business and brings us to building administrator check-in. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, December seems like a long time ago, but we had a lot of exciting things in December, and just really wonderful was our we do an annual sing along every year, and this year the gym was just packed with families. All families came and sat with their kids, and it was just amazing. We had no idea how many people would come. So I think just coming back together and singing together and doing the sleigh ride together in pajamas was just a wonderful sight. I know I talked about last time, we had so much giving around the time of the holidays too. We worked with Sobo Cares, and thousands of dollars were collected. Or we had somebody donated $1,000 for us to match up gift cards with families. So just giving out those gift cards all week is just so special. Our second grade did a wonderful thing where they collected cans of soup for Community Gourmet in Kennebunk that does care packages for people in need. And so they collected the soup, and they made it a big second grade project. And right before vacation, a woman came to our school that obviously it was a hardship for her to get to us, and she was trying to find us from Kennebunk, and she came with trying to find Annabelle in the second grade because she brought her a care package to show her how much the care package that we made for her impacted her life, and she was teary. And so what a lesson for Annabelle to get that giving back, to know that she made such a difference. So that was wonderful. And our Hawk Buddy started yesterday. So I love seeing the high schoolers, and it's just so amazing to see them in our school and just all grown up. So we had a lot of Central School alums come and be the Hawk Buddies. So just wonderful things. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would, excuse me, and for the, again, December seems like forever ago, and we've only been back in school for a couple of days, but when we do the sale, our boutique sale, you know, I think we raised about $2,500 for that. And it's just, all that money goes, excuse me, back into with families and also food pantries. And so it is so cool. It's one of those events that just you get, you know, goosebumps over, because the kids are excited about buying earrings for parents and or whatever their packages are. And it just goes for a great cause. So thanks to everyone for that. When Erin was here, Erin Dixon, our health teacher, she was talking about things she was doing in class, and I just want to thank the board, because really, I think that health position really kind of stemmed with you folks. It's like something that we really need. And, you know, she goes to the elementary, she goes to both Central and Elliott, and she's with us, and just the conversations the kids are having in class. So just want to thank you for that. As you know, we got that big outdoor ed grant that's coming to an end. We've spent about $100,000 so far. We've got about 40 left because we got some extra. And so one of the things I talked to John about before vacation is, and I think if you think about out back, our wooded area, we have the ash borer. So we've got an issue with all of those trees in that area that our kids play. So we had Caleb Mendy, who's done a lot of work within the district of taking trees down. And so we're talking about probably him coming in and taking most of that ash down. However, being able to, he said, I cut trees down, but I like to plant trees. And so he's going to work with us. So for instance, he said it'd be about a 50% rate. So what I mean by that is if we took 50 trees down, we'd be putting 25 more. We don't want to just clear cut because we have an issue. And the trees that we would get would be trees, wouldn't be the spindly things. It would be trees that are 8 feet high, you know, so he will really help us with that. So we're really excited about that. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to compliment our third grade students. And we've empowered them to take leadership roles in the school, from being morning announcers every morning, leading the Pledge of Allegiance, talking about good news, weather reporting, and always ending with a good joke. So they've done a great job. And an example of that is the third graders facilitated a morning meeting, and the theme was friendliness. So what they shared with their peers were a variety of hand signals that would convey that idea of friendliness. A peace sign, a connected sign, a smile, wave, heart hands. It was really nice. It was sweet. But they did a great job. Our civil rights team, made up of third graders again, they have sent out a challenge to peers, and that is the challenge is to choose someone new to play with at recess, just to find somebody new to connect with. That's a great, they're doing some great work. We're really proud of that group. And then our kids got involved with Project Share. They partnered with Elliott Lions Club and the town of Elliott in generating food for folks that were in need of assistance. So again, I think it's community-based stuff. It's leadership for third grade students, and that idea of positivity within the schoolhouse. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was hoping we were going to hear a joke, though.
All right. Any last comments from the board?
Sorry. I think I didn't articulate myself well when I mentioned an activities board and getting students involved. And what I'm asking is there you know, with the school board committees, whether it's facilities and finance or policy or the wellness, can we offer that to kids to sign up for? Because I'm assuming that with the policy, you just select kids or ask them, like, can we have kids be able to get involved if they want to, is what I'm trying to ask.
I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, certainly with the wellness committee, I think that to have student voice is really important. I don't know necessarily if with the policy committee, if that would always be appropriate.
Does a policy meet during the school day, or is it
It
later in
does.
the
I mean,
afternoon?
obviously, it's a variable that we could change, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that. Certainly, we have a policy around student representative to the school board. So certainly, you know, as a member of the public, anybody would be welcome to go. When we do things with like policy, it's usually we go to student government. And so we try to activate the groups of students that would apply most. And so we had a presentation by GSA last year around dress code, for instance. That was a group that had, you know, they had a voice. Brett worked with that group to be able to have them come forward and meet with the board, excuse me, the subcommittee. So let me look into it. I mean, if there are certain areas which may make sense, I think we could always seek out that and ask Brett to activate that. I mean, always one of our goals is to get students involved.
Right, like even if it was, again, like just from a parental experience, trying to find where the activities are that students can sign up for other than sports, and just finding a website that just has the list of the contacts and a descriptor, short descriptor, instead of, you know, hunting back in the emails for a slideshow, if that's the case, or what have you. But like, provide that contact of the school board, like, hey, I'm interested in the school board and how things work. Is there an opportunity for me, Joe Long, as the chair? And then you would be able maybe perhaps to give a list of opportunities where the student could be invited to participate, whether it is like a fun topic we're talking about for facilities or something like that, you know, whatever. But I just wish that things were more readily available for the students to find, instead of having to hunt and not find. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah, I thought Brett talked about that the last meeting and we had addressed it. So I'll follow up with him that he had made some
Yeah,
changes to the website.
He put the slides that were emailed, I guess, somewhere. They're still very hard to, they're in the family section, which as a family, like, I don't think a kid is gonna go to the family section to try to find out where to sign up for school activities. That's why I
Like on those clubs and sports.
Yeah.
Like a link. but
yeah,
not
like
link,
the
but
activities.
Just a
Student
All the
link.
things.
student life.
Student link.
Student life.
Student
For
life.
student activities there, and then I found the activities portion of our website, but it was all sports, but we already have a sports website. So we have like duplicate information out there, but why not just have a central location? Like if you're a Hawk and you want to get involved, here are all these opportunities for you to get involved in their descriptors. Because again, like if you're in middle school coming into the high school, you just don't know. And what if you don't have that network of older siblings that says, well, you have to sign up for this or that, that's the best club, or what have you. Like, we should be a little bit easier to find. I don't know,
I'll talk to Crystal. She's a website for us. So.
thanks, sorry.
I see what you're-
That's good.
I see what you're saying.
It's
I
good.
think it's a good idea
No,
for
I
them
just
to be
keep
able
on
to.
bringing it up, I sound like a broken record, I said this the other day, I have a broken record for a lot of these things for years, and I never feel like I know where the best time to present them, and these are just things that just have been irking at me for many years, and so maybe if I'm saying it in this forum, that will, I can follow through with it, maybe, somehow.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That is fair enough. And it's so funny that you bring this up because I was so impressed with the school counseling newsletter. So I'm very like, how awesome is it to have everything in one place?
Yes.
You can see what's coming up, what the dates are. You can find that just what parents need to know, what students need to know, not just college things, but there's this going on. There's a job fair at the what's it called?
Shipyards.
Or the,
Shipyards.
yeah.
And so I don't know. It's just really great.
Yeah.
I was so impressed. Like I read that and I'm like, oh my gosh, my kids did not have this. I
It's
did not
really
have this as
helpful.
a
It's very
parent.
helpful. about
Super
the
helpful.
thing
Like,
Yeah.
today, yeah.
like for those of you with kids in high school, you have to understand, like that, there was nothing like that, nothing, just a few short years ago. So that just goes to show how much work the school counseling department has done. And it kind of just makes me think the school activities and the school counseling and all of that kind
Should
of
be together.
should be together.
Yes, and that's
So
kind
I'm
of where I was
wondering,
hoping
like,
someone would say.
maybe we could put all the options for social club, athletic, whatever opportunities under that. I don't know if that's where it belongs, but it could go in that newsletter, everything that's coming up to get involved with. I mean, instead of having 15 different
Like as a
newsletters and
reminder,
places
GSA
to
Because I think this
will be
is-
meeting.
This is a great example of something we should talk about at the budget workshop. So if this is a
Perfect.
priority,
Yeah.
this is something that we talk about because these things take time.
Yeah.
And just to be
Yeah,
able to
of
put things
course.
in a plan, and we just have to be careful because there's 25 other things that are already going on.
Exactly.
And so if this is the plan, let's be able to put the best base around that we can. And then who's going to be responsible for it? How are we going to make sure it's not like, I'll never forget my first year as a athletic director. I said, you know what, if I had a bulletin board, it would solve all my problems. And the principal stopped me and said, John, I'll get you the bulletin board, but the hard part is you got to keep it up.
maintain it.
Right, and so like now we've got to make sure that with fidelity, that's a valuable resource, because it basically, in my opinion, it takes one time for someone to try to go to that site and they can't get what they want to say, the heck with it, the site's not updated, I don't have the information that I need. So I just want to make sure we have a really clear plan to be able to do. I think it's great ideas, but I just think we just want to make sure it's implemented so we can sustain it.
Yeah, I agree with you, because like even just looking at the counselor's letter, like just even the scholarships, there aren't very many of them on there. So clearly it's not up to date, so it must be difficult for them to maintain. So perhaps if there was a website, just to have the link, and for activities and scholarships, and you know what, Lisa and Joe and I, we outlined the website for the school board. You know, maybe that's something we have a subcommittee for, and we volunteer to create a activities page for our students in the district for each school. I don't know. Like, I mean, I think that we're all professional volunteers at this time and willing to help. So, anyway.
I believe there is a guidance counselor page. I know my guidance counselor, Miss LaBeouf, she has links to a bunch of scholarships in the area, and kind of all that information, not sports or anything, not extracurriculars, but there is a guidance counselor website that the new guidance counselor, Miss LaBeouf, made. Yeah, I don't know if she links that to the guidance letter, but that could be, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
mentioning it.
Okay. Anything else?
I
In which
wanted
case,
to mention for the community closet, we might be getting wax. So now here,
Oh,
ask for donations. Like, I probably have one in my attic. I just like dawned on me, like anything like that you ever need. Just
Maybe
like,
saying
let's
that.
throw it out there
Yeah.
on Facebook or whatever, the parent groups and whatever.
It's true.
Give us
Yeah,
people
people
send
want-
me an
Yeah.
send me an email and I'll
Yeah.
put it out there for you guys.
Yeah.
Whatever you
That
want.
sounds
Like
good.
literally, like
Yeah.
physical
You'll have
stuff.
30
If you
racks.
ever need
Yeah.
anything here,
I love it.
I mean, look what happened with the community closet.
I know there's an abundance
be
of
careful what
donations.
you
We
ask
go in every
for.
week and we're like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to put it.
okay? No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session then. Someone would be kind enough to make that motion?
I move to enter into an executive session for the purpose of labor contract negotiation between LCD number 35, the Canadian Education Association pursuant to the Title I MRSA, what is it called?
Subsection.
Subsection 4056D. Thank you.
A second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?